One fateful day in June, the marina buzzed with colonial bureaucrats in bowler hats and their local counterparts in their imported suits as the day's business gradually wound down. It was 1951, and colonial Lagos was burgeoning in every direction. Streets were narrow but pristine. All around Broad Street, people milled around with bottles, trays, folded umbrellas, bowls, baskets and bags balanced on their heads. Colonial business concerns like Kingsway, UTC, CFAO and GB Olivant dotted the landscape. Baba Olaiwola Abdul Kader Oladele was a popular motor mechanic who made his living repairing the growing number of automobiles on the streets of Lagos. His Ironmongers Engineering Company was not only intended as an indication of his ambition, it established him as the trusted brand in engineering in Lagos. On this particular day, Baba headed straight home to Ologbowo, something which was unusual at the time because he would usually go to the club first. As he got closer to home, neighbors came running towards him screaming. Before Baba Olaiwola could make out what exactly was going on, one of his neighbors blurted out the reason for the uproar. And it struck Baba. His heavily pregnant wife, Mama Begbe, had delivered a bouncing baby boy. In the room where Mama Begbe was, windows were open. An electric fan hung from the ceiling. The floor had been hurriedly polished, and a damp, moldy smell rent the air. The little baby was nestled on the bosom of the young mother as his father stepped into the room. On Baba's face was etched an ear-to-ear grin. That day was Monday, the 25th of June, 1951. The little baby would later be named Afolabi Oyedeji Razak Oladele. It was not a rich family, even by the standards of the day, and Afolabi didn't even have school shoes. His first set of footwear came from the rubbish dump, where some more fortunate folks had discarded their old shoes. But what could have been a sure preclusion from further education for him due to his responsibilities for his younger ones and the financial condition of his father was helped by his extraordinary brilliance in school. In 1964, he gained admission to study at the prestigious Government College, Ibadan. Afolabi grabbed this chance with both hands, studying and proving himself. He was the studious type. However, having grown up under a fun-loving man like Baba Olaiwola expectedly, he learned more than a culture of the dignity of labor. He liked his girls, and he liked the bottle too. In fact, he liked the bottle so much that his friends nicknamed him Baba Mameko, roughly translated, Baba No Shaking. January 1969, after another night out on the town, the radio was on, and a Lutheran preacher was preaching about salvation. As God would have it, the preacher's words cut through Afolabi's alcohol-induced fuzziness and lonely heart.
It will be an hour of decision for many of you who receive him today.
Even though he had been raised in a Muslim home by a Muslim father who liked life, he gave his life to Jesus that night, and so began a new chapter in the young man's life. His continued academic progress took him to the then University of Ife, UI campus, in 1969, where he studied chemical engineering. His stay on campus was characterized by deep devotion to everything Jesus. Social life ebbed, even academics played second fiddle. His lecturers even noticed and became worried for the young man. One of the lecturers actually became so concerned that he called Afolabi and two of his friends to his office one day and delivered the stern warning.
That's actually the reason why I said the three of you should come, especially you, Afolabi. I think you should stop this scripture union nonsense that you have been doing in school. You are here to study, for God's sake. You have the whole world under your feet, and I'm afraid you're about to flitter the whole thing. The other day, a lady was also telling me that you have been preaching to them, telling to them to get born again and all this. What's all this? Listen, if I don't see changes in your attitude to studies, I will make sure you don't graduate in this school. That's not the truth. You hear me? You hear me? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get up.
As Afolabi left Professor Ayo Ogunye's office with Niyi and Tim, his head was bowed, but his resolve increased. Rather than reduce his devotion to God through incessant fasting and prayers, he intensified it so much that his final exams in 1974 were done in the middle of a long-term fast. In the end, he not only succeeded in the exams, but he excelled and graduated with one of the best results in his class. He proceeded to Utu Etimekbo in Abak, Cross River State, where he had his National Youth Service. On December 20, 1975, Afolabi took the young damsel, Justina Mudupe, down the aisle. They said their I do's, and thus began yet another chapter in the life of Afolabi. On one auspicious day in August 1976, in the bedroom, Justina approached her husband. A smile etched on her face, expectation and excitement bubbling through her body.
Good morning, darling.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yes, I do.
Hope you slept well.
Fine.
Feeling late.
Bible me da.
Your Bible is here. Take.
That's great. I'm gonna be having a long day, so.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
That's great. Lord, we thank you for this morning.
Thank you, Jesus.
Lord, you're good and you're blessed.
It was only as he stepped out of the apartment that fateful morning that Afolabi first noticed a certain petulance in Justina's gait. He would have asked what the matter was, but decided rather to let sleeping dogs lie. That turned out to be a momentous decision indeed. All through his busy day at the office, the image of that irritableness in his wife kept coming back to him, and he just could not figure out what could have been responsible for it. And he began to look forward to going home and discovering what could have been eating his wife up. When he got home, he pressed the doorbell. Justina was there, and she opened the door for him, but said nothing. He greeted her and asked how her day had been.
How was your day now?
But other than the ticking sound of the wall clock, there was no other sound coming from the room. By now, it had dawned on Afolabi that a civil war was about to erupt in his homestead. To prevent serious casualties, he decided to tiptoe around his wife, trying as much as practicable to avoid all the landmines he knew she had laid for him around the apartment. He avoided the welcome greeting landmine by overlooking the fact that she did not offer even a whisper in response to his greeting. He also avoided the dinner landmine by going to the kitchen to fix his own dinner by himself. But he didn't realize that there were many other landmines laid in the kitchen which he did not see. As he brought out the cooking pot to set on the burner, Justina came charging into the kitchen like a raging bull.
What do you think you are doing? Afolabi,
and without much ado, she threw the very first grenade.
What do you think I'm doing? I'm trying to make food for myself.
You are trying to make food in my own kitchen.
I came back, there was no food for me.
Afolabi often recounts this experience in his recollections of his early days of married life.
Tina, enough of this. How can I come back from work? You were giving me attitude, and now you say I should not make food for myself. What's the matter with you?
Oh, so you have mouth to talk now, Abi? You have mouth to talk to me.
Christ.
You have been neglecting me in this house. Afolabi, there is God. You know I love you with all my heart. You know I love you. How can you forget today?
It was an experience which has led to a part of his brain being permanently reserved for August 6th, never to be forgotten again in his life. This lends credence to the maxim which says the best way never to forget your wife's birthday is to forget it once. For a very brilliant and dedicated man who learned responsibility early in life, work life for Afolabi was that of a high flyer. He began his work experience at the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources in 1975. The ministry was merged with NNOC to become NNPC in 1976. At NNPC, his bosses, in the most part, acknowledged the quality of his young mind and supported him with quality development programs. His assignments were done with dispatch, and his insights provided good counsel for increased productivity. Before long, opportunity came for him to be seconded to different parts of the world for experience broadening. At various times, he was seconded to Total in France, OPEC in Vienna, and Mobil in America. After rising to the position of Group Executive Director, Refining and Petrochemicals, he left NNPC in 1999 and joined the African Capital Alliance, where he rose to be an executive partner. Afolabi Oladele is a consummate businessman. While it is obvious that he possesses an uncommon business acumen, it is also clear that his exploits in the business world are more divine than natural. His business colleagues bear witness to these qualities. After decades of supporting people around him, both in financial and material matters, at his 60th birthday celebrations, he took it even a notch higher by instituting the Afolabi Oladele Foundation, a vehicle for providing opportunity and succor for those in need. The main focus of the foundation has been support for the education of young people who could have otherwise been distressed or denied the opportunity for educational advancement. In addition, the foundation has supported orphanages and homes for the elderly. The foundation also supports small-scale enterprise for the less privileged. Some of these people have been sent on a vocational training and mobilized with startup funds. Another passion of Afolabi Oladele's is the mission fields of the world. He has supported the propagation of the gospel of Christ throughout Nigeria, the sub-regions of West Africa, East Africa, and Southern Africa. By the grace and calling of God on his life, he supports ministries in Benin Republic, Togo, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, all the way to the Gambia and Senegal. The story of Afolabi Oyedeji Razak Oladele continues. He has led the Christian Brethren Church Lagos as a pastor for more than 3 decades, and he remains a chairman, director or board member of many organizations in different sectors in Nigeria and abroad. He is also a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Here, we are celebrating the most wonderful and inspirational man to have as a husband, father, pastor, teacher, friend, colleague, and business partner. A man whose lifestyle is a beacon of success for many young men and women here in Nigeria and all around the world. Happy 70th birthday, Pastor Afolabi Oyedeji Razak Oladele. You are admired a lot because God made you a source of comfort and succor to many in their times of adversity and struggle. We thank God for making you a gift to humanity. Nothing will ever replace you in our hearts. Do have a joyous 70th birthday celebration.